What's up, YouTube? It's the Anti-Radical Iconoclast. Here to tell you today about the death of a political figure. He may not want to be called a political figure, but he has definitely done what was required to be a political figure. Fred Phelps, the founder of the Westboro Baptist Church, has died at the age of 84. And I, for one, think that's a great thing. Why? Because Fred Phelps was he was a horrible person, to be honest. Really, truly. If any of his followers are here, I don't really care. Westboro Baptist Church, as they call themselves, they weren't a Baptist church, first of all. But they gained their notoriety through picketing a funeral. Back in 1998, they picketed the funeral of Matthew Shepard. I'm sure some of the people here do not actually know who that is. Matthew Shepard was a young gay man in Wyoming who was beaten and left for dead in a field on a fence. I believe they found him on the fence. The reason why the hell would a group picket a funeral? Well, first of all, why would a group picket a funeral at all? But they picketed Matthew Shepard's funeral because he was gay. And Westboro Baptist Church is, to put it mildly, they are rabidly anti-gay. Now it's important to know that they chose Matthew Shepard's. They didn't choose anybody else's. They chose Matthew Shepard's. Why? Because Matthew Shepard was a very high profile. They did this for the notoriety. Also because they are anti-gay, but they chose that particular one because of the notoriety. Now, this church is actually not only known for picketing funerals of gay young men who are beaten to death. They're very well known in more recent years for picketing soldiers' funerals. Many of you may remember the stories that were going on about groups of people who were picketing soldiers' funerals, soldiers who died overseas, mostly in Iraq, Afghanistan. There was these people. These were the ones doing it. They also picket same-sex weddings. They picket outside of military hospitals. But why? As I mentioned, they are an anti-gay group, so yes, it makes sense that they would picket a same-sex marriage. That does make sense. So why the soldiers? Simple. Those soldiers died because, apparently, it was God's judgment that they should die. I'll explain in a little more detail shortly. They also have been known to picket country music shows, the Academy Awards, and any other awards show. Well, basically, they'd picket anywhere that they thought they'd get an audience. Anywhere that they could whore themselves out and share their opinion to all the willing and unwilling audience. Mostly unwilling, since there was only 100 members of this organization, and almost all of them are Fred Phelps' extended family. Not pulling in a lot of extra believers there, buddy. But now, as far as them calling themselves a church, we should touch on their religious beliefs. He was not of the mindset that God is love. In fact, he thought that to say that is heresy. He gave the impression that he felt that God was this spiteful being whose his entire existence was fueled solely by the hate generated by this group, this family, essentially. They're a poor excuse for a church or congregation, but these are the things he believed. He also had nothing but disdain for anyone who was less than unilaterally hateful toward gays, people who supported gays, people who had gay friends, or children had gay friends, who passed gay people on the street who could define the word gay. He had nothing but hate. Jerry Falwell, he was anti-gay. Jerry Falwell was known to be anti-gay. He felt homosexuality is a sin. It's immoral. But he felt that God would forgive. God loves all his children. He'll forgive you if you accept him. Fred Phelps thought that was a disgusting opinion to have, that God would never forgive such a great sin. No. And don't be mistaken. Please. Please don't think that this organization was ever about helping anyone. It never was. Not even for a moment was it about helping anyone. All the picketing, all the protesting, it wasn't about saving souls. It wasn't about saving lives. It wasn't about bringing anybody to God. It was only about Fred Phelps and his family's salvation. It wasn't about anybody else's salvation. So all the picketing that was done, all the people who they hurt with their picketing and their hatred, they were nothing to them. They were nothing but to the Westboro Baptist Church, but tools for their own ends. And this isn't a matter of conjecture. This isn't a matter of, well, I've read about it and this is kind of what I think. This is directly from Fred Phelps' mouth. And another thing they believed was, as I mentioned, the soldiers dying was divine. It was divine judgment. They felt that God was killing all these soldiers and dismembering all these soldiers as judgment against America. And every time there was an article or a news story or anything about a soldier who was killed in action or wounded in action or missing in action or anything, anytime a soldier was even potentially hurt, they would routinely get together and they would thank God for the IEDs, the bombs, the insurgents, all the other things. And they would pray for more of it. More and more and more and more. And you know what? You're allowed your opinion. You're allowed your religious opinion. If you are against the war, you're for the war, you think it's all a lie, you think the government's in a conspiracy, none of that matters. None of that matters. Because these people, they're nothing but a hate group. Pure and simple. By their own admission. It isn't even like I'm throwing this label on them. They only sought to condemn and disparage all these people. This isn't my opinion. This is straight from the horse's mouth. Everywhere, anywhere they could go, they traveled the country. They would protest anywhere that they could spread their message of hate, they did. And everywhere that they could, they did. Every time, every chance they got. And, you have the right to free speech. I support that. I may think your opinion is abhorrent, but you have the right to free speech. However, you are, in my opinion, the very basest and lowest type of activist in the world. You're not trying to change anything. You're not trying to do anything to help anyone at any point. You only want to destroy everything. Everything that is held, everything that's not part of your family or part of your faith, you want to destroy it. How is that? You know what? And even worse than that, as if that's not bad enough, the timing. You choose to do it at weddings. You choose to do it at funerals. You choose to do it at times that are emotionally going to hit these people the hardest. And you know what that makes you? It makes you no different than some low-rent terrorist organization. Because all you do is seek to cause fear and pain. And you want people to know at any time we can come and we can ruin your entire day. That is all they are. And they are a terrorist organization. They are a hate group. Maybe you think I'm a little off base calling them a terrorist organization, but they are a hate group. That is not really, that's not really up for debate. They are a hate group. So much so that 40 states in the United States, they passed laws to limit picketing at funerals, which that seems to me like the kind of thing that basic human decency would say, let's not picket the funeral. That's kind of in poor taste. That might be a little bit over the line. But speaking of picketing funerals, I know a lot of people are already talking about picketing Fred Phelps' funeral. Why? Why do you want to sink to his level? Don't sink to his level. You don't want to be on his level. Fred Phelps was nothing but this living, breathing embodiment of hatred. You don't want to be that. Unfortunately, he was alive far too long. He should have died years ago. We would have been much better off without him. And if any of his followers or his family are here, any of his family who's here, who's watching this, who's not a member of the Westboro Baptist Church, sorry for your loss. If you're a member of the Westboro Baptist Church, I don't really care about your opinion. Honestly, I don't. I think you are horrible people, and I'm not really concerned with your opinion. You followed a psychotic fanatic. I mean, fanatic is someone who can't change his mind and won't change the subject, and that's all he ever was. He never listened to logic, morality, human decency. I could go on. And he always wanted to picket everything about God hates fags. Actually, that's their website. Any of you want to go there for some reason. So let's not go to his funeral. Let's not go to his funeral and go there with signs. Let's not make it a media circus, because he doesn't deserve to be remembered. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, let people like this die nameless. Unfortunately, he's never going to die nameless. He has already established his name. But let's not immortalize him anymore. Let's not give him what he wants. He obviously, as much as he whored himself out at every opportunity he got, he obviously wants the publicity. Let's not give it to him. Let's not that I think that they're going to publicize where this funeral is. Pretty sure somebody would do something very bad. But let's not do that. Let's just make sure that people like this don't get a voice in the future. Okay? But tell me what you think. Am I wrong? Does what he's saying, does that make sense to you? Or do you think that he should have died years ago, like I do? Do you think the Westboro Baptist Church should all be, well, you hate America, so get out. Why not? Put him on a big raft somewhere, push him out to sea, Let's see if God saves you. But let me know. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Please, I really do want to hear what you guys have to say. So please comment in the box below. Once again, this is the Any Radical Black Iconoclast. I'll see you around.